Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to today's live Q&A with your host, the Arica Angelo. There might be more out there, but right now I'm the Arica Angelo. Guys, welcome. And I just realized I do not have on my earbuds. That's not good. I don't know if the sound quality is going to be good. Hello, Thomas. Wow. That question came in really hot. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me okay without my earbuds, or do I need to get my earbuds? Because you might hear all the motorbikes. Ninja Wolf, shout out to you, Thomas, says, for your great suggestion last week. What was his suggestion? I want to know. Chris says, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you, darling. So, Clarice. Has anyone ever told you, like, it could be Clarice, but I'm thinking of Silence of the Lambs. He's like, hello, Clarice. So hearing me just fine in Vegas. Awesome. So Clarice says, hey, Arica, what do you think about orgies? I mean, you're coming in hot. That's a straight up question. But to be fair, I guess I am setting up the precedence by doing this in my lingerie. So I feel like maybe that's appropriate that you're asking that question. Here's the thing, like, always ask yourself, like, what is the intent? Like, what's my intent of doing this? Is this to explore my sexuality? Is this to boost my ego? It's really not about what I think about orgies. It's what your experience is. Like, what experience are you looking for? So maybe it's a better question to ask yourself. I live in Bali, and so people are quite open with those sort of things. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but people are really into it out here. It's a little bit hedonistic sometimes. Daniel says, how can you tell when a woman is show up for you? Like, does that mean when Jason, I just saw Jason's comment. He says, you're coming in clear to me. I'm off tonight and I can give you my full attention. Yes, I love having men's full attention. Thank you. If you can tell if a woman's showing up for you, I think when a woman makes time for you, that's a woman showing up for you. If she is expressing her feelings to you, how she feels about you, if she's expressing to you the time that you guys share together, that she enjoys it, if she's making an effort to try to see you more, that's a woman showing up. If she's not asking you questions about yourself, if she's not trying to make an effort to see you without you arranging it, if she's not expressing to you her experiences with you, if she's not communicating any of her feelings, these are all signs of a woman not showing up for you. I hope that helps. David says, what experience am I looking for? Someone who respects me. Don't call me the guy friend on date 1. Yeah, because then right there, it's not a date. It's just someone who sees you as a friend, and it's not a date. And yeah, I know for men, respect is very important, as it should be. One thing I always encourage men with, though, is make sure that you're showing up in a respectable manner. Like, ask yourself, when you're on a date with a woman, if I were her, would I respect myself the way that I'm showing up? And only you can answer that. But I think sometimes in dating and relationships, I'm just rambling here because no one's asked another question. I think sometimes in dating and relationships, we all can be very guilty of having expectations of the other person, but not necessarily showing up in a way that's respectable. So that's super important, is that not only do we ask and require respect, or whatever it is that we're seeking out of another person, but that we also are showing up the same way, that there's pardon me, not a level of entitlement that's there. Chipo says, eats the Latina Sarah Palin, and Sarah Palin is freakishly cute. Okay. Are you saying I look like a Latina Sarah Palin? Oh, hell no. I just got that. What? A Latina Sarah Palin? Oh, come on, bro. Really? No. Oh, man. Not that. Okay, I'm just going to stop. Ashley K says, you're looking great in black from Mauritius. Thank you, darling. Johnny Sand says, it's a dead leaf. Use your tears to water the new plant. Let it go if they don't show up. Mine is all talk and has not showed up yet. Water a new one. Interesting. Okay. Let's have a conversation about that. Ninja Wolf says, Arica, guess what? I kissed myself in the bathroom mirror. Am I doing it correctly? He's talking about like loving himself. I've done the same thing, Ninja Wolf. I would say yes, you're absolutely doing that very well. Colin, thank you for being here from Cape Town, South Africa. Dave says, yep, talk is cheap. Wait till you're in person to know. Yeah, I think observing someone's actions is always important. But here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing about observing people's actions is that sometimes we don't know what they're going through. And so sometimes we need to ask questions to get it out of them. Sometimes people aren't good necessarily communicating on their own. Is it their responsibility? Absolutely. Like, we're all adults here. It's our responsibility to communicate what's going on inside of us. But sometimes people need to be kind of pushed a little bit. And so sometimes asking questions to go, hey, I feel like this isn't important to you, or I feel like you're not showing up, or you're just going silent, but you say one thing, but then your actions show another. Can you understand why this might be a little bit confusing for me? That's such a great line to say, right? Someone should write that down. When you don't feel like a woman showing up, and listen, at the end of the day, like, we don't know what's going on in her world, right? Unless she tells us. So to start the conversation off, if she doesn't have the courage or the wherewithal to do that, so you can say, listen, you say that you're saying yes to date, you're saying that you like me, you say you miss me, but then your actions don't really show me that. Can you understand where that may create some confusion for me? Such a great line to say. Why do women, okay, hold on. Let me go back. Joe Bird, question. If a woman is telling me, let's take it one day at a time, how do you know she's not talking to someone else? Joe, you don't. Yeah, and she very, very well may be talking to someone else. So what you need to do is you need to show her that your world doesn't necessarily revolve around her. And so that you need to get busy with your own schedule. And so she needs to see that you're just not waiting on hands and knees for her, Like, go, please, please, please come back. Okay, we can take it day by day, but I'm going to continue doing my life and my activities. And when a woman feels that, she's like, oh, maybe I should not take this guy for granted. Maybe I should take him a little bit seriously. I want you to try that. Francisco says, I get her number, but I'm ghosted after a couple text messages. Francisco, sometimes if a guy's coming across as a friend zone guy and he's not really escalating things with her, like trying to see her or anything like that, that could be part of it. Or when you guys met, you came across as a nice guy, and so she was being nice back, so she gave you her phone number, but maybe she's not as into you, which can happen. Not everyone is going to like us. It's okay. It's called human choice, human will. But you need to escalate things when you're meeting these women. Like, hey, I want to take you out for coffee. I want to take you out for a glass of wine. Like, I want to get to know you, girl. When you're more direct like that, then you come across less as a friend zone guy and someone that she can take seriously. But I think that when you get a girl's number, getting her number is what you want to do to get her on a date. That's what you want to do. Mark says, Arica, girl I'm talking to for nearly a year. We consider ourselves as boyfriend, girlfriend, but she has to put her work first. Should I give her a date when I will try no more? My question to you, Mark, is how often are you seeing each other? Because I get it, like putting her work first. I mean, she has to pay her bills, right? It's like a baseline of survival, which we all have. But is there any effort in between? Because that's, if there's no effort in between, like you going to see her, her trying to come and see you, if there's no effort in between and she's just like, come to me, I'm never going to leave Vegas, and you just have to work around my schedule, you have to ask yourself, like some guys, they'd be like, hey, cool, I get to go to Vegas all the time to see a hot girl. Awesome. That may work for some guys. I think the biggest question is, does this work for you? Having this kind of relationship. And if it's not, then you have to communicate that and say, this just isn't working for me. Like, I understand that your career is important. You need to pay your bills, you have financial obligations that need to be met, and this job helps you do that. And I understand that, but I need to have a partner that goes both ways, and I'm not getting that from you. Like, you have to be comfortable in yourself to be able to vocalize that to her. Let's see. Is it just me? This is time. I feel that women are so like the young Felicity. It's an old Cher. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know that reference. You have such long fingers, my dear. Better to grab with. Wow. Wow, Glenn. Wow. It's a good thing my parents aren't a part of this live Q&A. Sean Shaw says, why do women go cold all of a sudden and ignore text calls? Because what happened whenever you met her, she didn't develop a real interest with you. She didn't really get to know you. She didn't develop a real interest. And because she has no real interest in you, she's not responding to you. This is why I always encourage men. Get her on a date. Let a woman experience your presence, because just texting doesn't do it. Like, how do you show up in person? What stories can you tell her that will captivate her? What experiences can you take her on a date that she's never had, and grab her attention that way so that she can see you? The problem is, a woman just through texts and calls can't really get to know you, because there's only so much, there are only so many facets of yourself that you can reveal to her through texts and calls. But when you get her on a date and you're having experiences with her, that takes it to a whole nother level. Then she gets the full spectrum, or as much as you can deliver on a date. She gets a bigger spectrum of you to be able to choose from. But when it's just texting and calls, that spectrum is very small, because it's only limited of what you can truly show her of you. Stu says, hey, Arica, first time on live since we had an interview last year back in Mississippi. Indefinitely. Mississippi's lucky to have you, babe. So Joe says, what if she's telling me she's not dating anyone? Should I believe her? Listen, you can, sorry, now it's getting loud out there. I hear helicopters. I'm like, who the hell has a helicopter in Bali? Here's the thing. You can trust people until they're untrustworthy. Like, if she's showing herself, sorry, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm texting Andy. Andy's supposed to come at 1. I'm like, please come at 1:30. Andy will appreciate that. We gave him a shout out on YouTube. If she hasn't shown herself to be an untrustworthy person, if she's been pretty straight up with you, then you have no reason not to trust her. When we start distrusting a person is when they show us behavior that shows that they're not as honest as we would appreciate them to be. Hot Rock Nations. I want to take you to McDonald's drive-thru, baby. Let's roll. Excellent. You know what was my go-to meal at McDonald's? A quarter pounder with cheese, fries, and a Dr. Pepper. I have not drank a Dr. Pepper in probably 5 years. I haven't had a quarter pounder in probably 5 years. It's been hilarious, even though we have them in Bali. Edwin says, this is what's so great about when you guys ask questions, because to Edwin's point, Edwin Ratoodle just said, I don't need to ask a question. All these fellows are asking all the questions for me. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Edwin, because that's true. Like, I always want to encourage you guys. There's no stupid question that you can ask, because I guarantee you, there's a scripture in Solomon, there's nothing new under the sun. May have said this before, but yeah, if you have a problem with it, chances are there's someone else who's watching this right now who has the same problem. So go ahead, ask question. Ninja Wolf says, also, guys, if you would give me a thumbs up, because that lets YouTube know, like, hey, people like this, and then they are more likely to promote my videos so that other guys can be a part of this conversation. Thank you. Someone just gave me a thumbs up. Awesome. But if the rest of you guys could do that, that would be excellent. Ninja Wolf says, is marriage like setting the level difficulty to hard? I don't think so. I think marriages can actually be a lot of fun. And if you have the right partner and you guys have the right core values, I just did a video, you can go check it out, about is compatibility, which I couldn't say it in the video. And someone was like, maybe you shouldn't do videos about words you can't say. And I was like, touche. Is compatibility overrated? And I talk about, like, if you have the same core values, that's more of where I believe you should put your focus on. And so, as opposed to just being compatible, because sometimes opposites attract. Sometimes you guys can want two different lives, but because you have the same core values, you get along really well. So no, when you marry your best friend and you guys have the same core values, you're on the same page, it can be quite the adventure. It can be a lot of fun. It can bring a lot of stability and safety and security to your heart. You can have that person who's your confidant, who knows your ins and out, that you can go to on the good days, on the bad days, on the exciting days, on the dull days. And guess what? That person is there. They have your back. They want to hear what's going on in you. And it's so wonderful to feel like celebrated and seen by that person. So no, I don't believe it's taking the level to difficulty hard. Welcome, Al. He says, hey, Arica, just here to show love and gather. Thank you for being here. Ooh, that's a great question, Stewie. He says, what key conversations should I have with my girl before moving in together? That's a really great question. One, I mean, how do you guys keep house together? Like, that's super important. Talking about, like, your schedules, like, what are your expectations of her moving in? What's the cleaning? What's that going to be like? Who's paying what bill? Like, having all those conversations before you move and talking about finances, cleanliness, schedules, For me, in my mornings, I like to have 3 hours to myself. Seems like a lot. I love having 3 hours to myself. So it's like getting very clear about what your life looks like and what parts of your life. Obviously, some parts change when you move in with someone, but being clear about, like, hey, this is my life, this is my routine, and this is kind of like what you're getting into. So being clear about finances, being clear about routines, how you guys want to run the household together, cleanliness, those sort of things, just having conversations around that before you move in to make sure you guys are on the same page. Irvin says, hey, Arica, greetings from Los Angeles. Yes, I know that you guys are starting to open up there. That is wonderful. You have to kiss my beloved LA for me. I probably won't get back to LA till November. I'm going to stay in Bali and try to get into Europe as soon as it opens. Willie G, love you, Arica. That's a cute little ninja thing. Thank you, darling. I'm sending you love too. Okay, Cayman, I saw your question before and then you removed it and you put it back. So I'm glad you did, because this is a really good question. He says, why do some men got to text women first? Sometimes I feel like I've wasted my time texting a woman. It's true. Like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, women love men who initiate. We love it. We're suckers for it. Like, if a man is initiating, it feels like he's the man. He's in charge. He's like making shit happen. And so I think it's like that journey of being pursued. Now, granted, when you get into a relationship with a woman, that needs to go both ways. She needs to pursue you. She needs to text you back. But in the beginning phases, she wants to be pursued. She wants to feel like she's special, that she's different from all the other girls. Like, that is a core value. Like, men want to be respected. They want to feel like they have what it takes, which is why I say that at the end of every single one of my calls. But a woman wants to feel like she's unique, that there's something about her that sets her apart. And when a man pursues a woman like that, it makes her feel that. It gives her that beginning phase, that beginning feeling of like, I'm special to him, like he is pursuing me. I'm set apart from other women. I read this wonderful book back in my 20s called Captivating by my favorite author, John Eldridge, and his wife, Stacey Eldridge. And they said that a woman, when she walks into a room, she looks around and says, am I the most beautiful woman in the room? Like, do I stand out from the rest of the women? And while women can celebrate each other and champion one another, at the end of the day, we want to know that there's something that makes us special. And I believe that's a core value for a lot of us, but women particularly when it comes to their beauty. So when a man's texting her, it does make her feel beautiful. It makes her feel wanted and makes her feel pursued. Glenn says, you're like Little Red Riding Hood. I hate vocalizing. Should I just shut up? Never, my darling. You should always vocalize. It's very important. Irvin says, is it a sign of interest if a woman asks you to go to the movies with her? Yes and no, because she's asking you out, but two, she could be also just bored and she wants a friend to come with her. So I would say, yeah, go with her and then see where things go. If you're into her, try to hold her hand, buy her popcorn, give her a kiss on the cheek as soon as you see her to let her know what your intentions are. Brandon, hello, my darling, one of my emotional warriors. How many of you are doing that emotional warrior program? If you've not done that, you guys, seriously, changing people's lives. The transformations that men are having through this program are life-altering. It's so beautiful to see the transformation that so many men are going through, where they're feeling comfortable and strong in themselves, strong in their voice, strong in who they are as a man. If you've not done that program, I highly suggest you get on that immediately. It's a beautiful 8-week journey. You become a part of my Facebook group that I'm a part of every day, and I get to know you guys in there. So I highly encourage you to get on that. What? Sorry, I just jumped around, guys. Sometimes it does that. Where did it go? Gustavo says, is the attraction between male and female a sexual attraction or the need to be whole? It's both. I believe that there's a lot of healing that occurs in sex, believe it or not. When two people are conscious and they're having sex, I believe, there's a reason why Marvin Gaye wrote a song about it, right? Sexual healing, baby. There is something very healing about sex, but when two whole people come together, it can be euphoria. Even when broken people come together, there's a sense of healing that comes through having sex. Not with everyone, but when there's a connection, there's a love there. Stripe one, that's a really good thing. So I got into a long distance relationship with someone I've been talking to online for 1 month, been trying to meet up in person, but never seems to give me an answer. Should I just keep talking to her? I don't think so, my darling. I think you need to draw a line in the sand, put the ultimatum down and say, listen, I'm not here to be your pen pal. If that's what you're interested in, you need to find someone else. It's not what I'm here for. Dave says, we love Andy. I'll have to tell him that. It makes him happy. So, Huni, Asar says, I'm 20. What's going on with the dating scene today is an extreme version of the same thing in the 2000s of disparity between the asshole heartbreaker and the spineless coward in young people. At the end of the day, I'm glad you said that. I think people, we've become more consumed with protecting ourselves as opposed to engaging in connection. So it's like, what if this person does this? What if this person does that? And it makes us very cowardly. We're always afraid, looking for when we're going to get hurt, as opposed to running towards love and going, hey, this could work out. Hey, this could actually feel good. And so what happens is when we start going into self-protection, as opposed to running into relationship, running into trust, running into love, running into the freedom that it brings, when we're constantly being on guard, our communication drops. We become very spineless. We become very immature. I have to say, I was very disappointed to see, I posted some shirt options for the emotional warrior, and I saw several men say, do not put the word emotional on there. No self-respecting man would ever wear a shirt that says emotional. And I thought, we can't be that big a pussy still. Like, really, it's called emotions. They're a healthy thing, and it's not a female or male thing. Like, what are we, in the Victorian era? Like, I don't talk about emotions. I'm a man. I have a cock. I cannot speak of my emotions. Come on, guys. Like, at some point, we have to grow up. At some point. So I wouldn't say it's even just between 20s. I mean, I'm sure that some of the guys who made these comments, and maybe they're just older and they're not on board with the fact that people are talking about mental health, people are talking about emotions, and that's kind of like, people have evolved and they've grown. Maybe these guys are still stuck in the Stone Ages. I don't know. But I was very disappointed to see on my channel, in my community, men saying just that. I'm like, what do you think we're fucking talking about every week? We're talking about emotional warriors. What do you think a woman wants? You think she wants some Flintstone guy, some caveman, me no talk emotions, me no understand emotions. Come on, grow the F up. Evolve as a man. We're not pedaling with our feet anymore. We drive cars now. Like, life moves on. Move with the program. Mark says, yeah, I have a thing about trusting girls. For sure. So what I would encourage you to do, babe, is to go and reclaim those parts. Get some healing around that. You should do that emotional warrior program. That's really good for, like, it's going into the heart of men, right? So that men can get back to their heart, so that when they connect with a woman, it can be from the heart, which is where a woman wants to stay. She stays with a man's heart, not with everything else, despite what we've been conditioned to believe. So I would say, darling, you owe it to yourself to get some healing around that. Johnny says he used to drink Dr. Pepper with whiskey. I'd never tried that before. Gustavo says, does love come before or after marriage? Oh, honey, that shit should come way before marriage. If you're not in love, you have no business being married. My ex tried to screw over my mom with my income. Was a big hassle. Okay. I'm really sorry you had that experience, because that is not cool, babe. Not cool. Not cool. Let's see. Next question. Okay, time. I will have to go watch that movie. Thank you for that. Glenn's still going on about my fingers. He thinks my... trying to find... I'm going to wrap this up, so I'm just looking for a last question here. Knowing that young women are hypergamous, is there an age that women reach where the man making more money than her is no longer important or needed? Does it come to an end? Listen, I think a woman's always going to want you to be making your own money, even if she's making her own money. Like, the last thing that she wants to be is in a relationship with a couch potato. And right now, money is still the metric that we use to see, like, where we're performing, right? So it doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire, but a woman wants to know, can a man take care of himself? If shit goes wrong with my business, can he be a solid force? Does he understand finances to have my back? I don't think that a woman always needs a man to make more money than her. I don't think that's the case, but she does want to know that he has a financial wherewithal, that he is at least wise with his money, because that does establish safety. Just like it wouldn't make you feel very safe if you were making a lot of money and she just went and spent all your money. that's not going to make you feel very safe or appreciated in the relationship. Ramonda says, I am at the start of a relationship. Everything is excellent. She initiates, she's passionate, she's interested. However, she avoids talking about feelings. I tease her about this. Why is that? You know, here's the thing, Romano. I love that you're having a conversation with her about that. That's definitely an emotional warrior side of you. I know that, people have gone through trauma, and so feelings kind of get disconnected when people go through trauma and have hard experiences. But regardless, you need to have a conversation with her and say, hey, listen, I'm loving everything about our relationship. You are phenomenal. This is such an incredible relationship that we have. But for me to really fully enjoy a relationship, I need to feel like we can talk about feelings. That's important to me. I need you to give that to me. Can we start talking about it? And if not, can we just start the conversation with why this is so difficult for you? But it really is important to me. She needs to know that it's important to you. Guys, I love you so, so, so much. I'm so appreciative of you. I'm so grateful. I'm so, so, so grateful that you guys are here. Jesse just said, let's be real, Arica. Women hate it when you ignore them. It forces them to think about you. Surprised you haven't made a video about that. That's not always true. If you ignore her and she's not into you, she's like, finally, he pissed off. He's leaving me alone. Good. On to the next. That's not necessarily true. I have made videos similar to that. But yeah, if a woman's not into you, she's just not into you. So if you ignore her, she's like, and that's done. And I don't have to be stressed about every time he sends me a text. So that's not really true. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Remember, you guys have what it takes. You have what it takes. You got it. But a lot of times it's like we need new tools, right? That's how we grow. We need tools. And so that's what you're coming here for, is to get some tools so that you guys can have a more healthy, fulfilled relationship with women. You can enjoy your experience with women, but most importantly, that you can respect yourself as a man in the process. So if you need help with that, do that emotional warrior program. I would get on that today. Guys, I love you so, so, so much. And I will see you in my next live video. You guys take care. Mwah. From Bali, Indonesia.